the Chase Thomas Podcast, for people who have nothing but time to kill.
An uncle who texted me asking, like, who do we need to cheer for this weekend for Tennessee to host? And I'm like, I just think this is it. Like, I think if you're not ahead of Ohio State tonight, I just don't think anything that happens this weekend is going to help Tennessee move into that 8 spot. But what say you, sir?
Yeah, I just don't think the committee will do anything. My thing is, like, you have to punish Ohio State. And if you give them a home playoff game, you're rewarding them because you don't have to play in the conference championship and they still get a home playoff game. I mean, every coach, knowing that, every coach would have done that. And that's why the conspiracies are going around that Ryan Day lost on purpose. So I think
he couldn't if he wanted to. He would have won that game if he tried to lose.
Right. Yeah, I just don't get it. I think recency has to be something in this. And Ohio State, I mean, they looked horrible. And I know they're going to bring up Arkansas, which that was 2 months ago. This was like Saturday. This was like a couple days ago where Ohio State did not look deserving to be in the college football playoff. Obviously, they're going to be in there. But why are we rewarding a team for losing to a 6-5 Michigan team?
Also, a flex by Michigan. They beat Ohio State and then fire their offensive coordinator after the terrible performance. Like, that's rough for Ohio State. We're like, they even fired their offensive coordinator because of how bad that offense was. Like, it was one of the worst interceptions in the end zone you'll ever see from Davis Warren. That was an all-timer.
I mean, Michigan won without a quarterback. That's another thing. It's like, yeah, they lost, but they lost.
They won without an offense. I mean, an entire offense.
Yeah.
That's.
I don't even think you have to look.
State's offense looked worse than Michigan's is crazy.
I don't even think you have to look at recency. And I mean, you're right. If they follow their recency bias, then it should be Tennessee or hosting in the first round. But they don't have to do that. Arkansas was away. They're easily the same level as Michigan, unless you're the Michigan AD who calls them tough for whatever reason this year. Both have losses to top teams in the country playing for conference titles. Both of those are away. I think it's still Tennessee by a nose. It's not much, but how can Tennessee not be in front right now? I say that as a biased individual. Tennessee has a win over a number of, 11 going into this week. And the only reason Ohio State has one higher is because they refused to drop Penn State for anything, apparently. I don't get it.
I mean, Penn State might be number 1 overall after this weekend. I think they could beat Oregon. I wouldn't be surprised if they beat Oregon this weekend. And then do you usurp them with Texas if Texas wins?
Well, and you asked that, who do we cheer for? I think we cheer for Penn State and Texas to get demolished. Or I think in the
But can you
SEC,
penalize them for losing an extra game? Like, I just don't know if the committee's going to do that. Like, I don't know if that's
the only
realistic.
penalization you could receive is getting a home game taken from you. And that's the only, and I don't think they will. I don't think they necessarily should. By the way, tune in tomorrow or Thursday night. I am going to lay out Caleb's 12-team college football playoff. It is going to be a perfect encapsulation of what we've been given in this day and age in college football and the best way to go about it. But this also, we go back to when we were getting on to Indiana and Kurt Signetti a few weeks ago.
Your man.
Notre Dame is still skating by because of all the chaos around them. Notre Dame is lucky after that loss in Northern Illinois to even be in the conversation of a college football playoff team, let alone they're apparently just getting to host outright.
Yeah.
We're just giving it to them. They should be the last team in. If you lose to Northern Illinois, congratulations, you won 11 games. We'll make you the last team in.
Well, they also got lucky here with the not being in a conference, because if they were in the ACC right now, they're fine. Like, they don't have to sweat anything. They would have probably looking at a bye, because I think they'd be the best team in the ACC this year. Like, they've been the ACC title game before in 2020. Like, they're basically playing ACC schedule anyway. They got lucky because I think the conventional wisdom was they benefit from not being in a conference because they're going to be assured a playoff spot every year if they can go 10-2. But you see, like, there's not a lot of margin for error, and you can't make up that ground if you drop 2 games, especially if you're at Notre Dame, because I think there's going to be a lot of talented 10-2 teams in the SEC and Big Ten that are going to gobble up a lot more spots than maybe Notre Dame had previously anticipated. And I think it's turning out that not being in the ACC for right now might end up being a problem for them. It's not going to end up biting them this year, but they would be a favorite to get a first round bye if they were in the ACC year over year, because I think they'd be the strongest program in the ACC right now. And I wonder how much of I don't know. I've thought about that a lot the last couple of weeks. Is like they would benefit a lot from being in the ACC as a football only member right now.
Year over year, you're right. But I mean, when you look at this year, and this year won't be the only time this happens. They're going to, if any other non-Power 4 team lost to Northern Illinois, they wouldn't be in the conversation for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they get to go by just because they're a name brand. And in this day and age, are they really that much bigger than Boise State, name brand wise?
I think they're bigger than Boise State.
If you take out the boomer generation, if you go look at 2000, when did they get huge? 2006?
Boise?
And
when was Ian Johnson
2006 to 2024?
Was that 2006?
I think it was the 2007 Fiesta Bowl was the year that they won the Statue of Liberty, I believe. It might have been the 2006 Fiesta Bowl, 2005 season.
That hurts, man. I cannot believe that was the 17 years ago. Good God.
I bet if you polled the NCAA generations, it would be much closer than you think of Boise State, Notre Dame, who you prefer. In terms of like fans of, play with, that kind of deal.
So in terms of like the Tennessee aspect of this, and I kind of want to end here with this kind of our speed round here of the more important issues, Chase Thomas podcast collaboration tonight, is I want to get y'all's perspective on this, because I've thought about this a lot this week. I'm going to write about it more this week. But of the three possibilities, because we'll still see, and like we'll see how it goes tonight, but would you rather go to Ohio State, Penn State, or Notre Dame? Because I think those are your three options here right now for Tennessee. Is probably one of those three, but I think it's probably Ohio State. Of those three, who would you most want to have? And what do you think the line is going to be if we get an 8-9 and Tennessee is in Columbus after this week?
So those are three options. Those three.
I think those are the only three realistic options for Tennessee.
I'd rather go to Notre Dame.
I think I would too.
I just don't like Ohio State and Penn State. Their defense kind of worries me. Notre Dame does not scare me. And number one, because they don't prepare. Well, and that's kind of all the Big Ten teams. They don't prepare for Tennessee's tempo and their offense. Yeah. I think the SEC has gotten a little bit better at defending Tennessee, and that's why you haven't seen just the big play after big play after big play, because it is something that it took a while for them to learn how to stop or learn how to coach against a little bit. But Notre Dame, their biggest wins are against triple option teams. This is totally different.
And a fraudulent A&M team.
That's true. Yeah. They don't have a quarterback either. So
yeah. No, I agree. I think it's Notre Dame's one.
It's also the stadium atmosphere, right? Sure. I don't worry about Tennessee being in over their heads with the crowd. Like the Notre Dame crowd, if Northern Illinois can walk in there, Notre Dame's not known for I don't think that's going to really phase them. Happy Valley in Columbus will be a different deal.
I think
football
they're definitely different levels.
Really scaring me because Northern Illinois won on that field.
Yeah.
So.
No. And I'll stand on the take of I'll gladly play Ryan Day in a playoff game. I think if this year hadn't proven me correct on that take, I don't know.
Even on the road, you feel good about Tennessee's chances in Columbus?
Feel good? I didn't feel good about our chances in Nashville. I don't know what to tell you.
What do you think the line is?
If Tennessee went to Columbus?
Yeah.
I think it'd float around 9, maybe get up to 10.
I think it would be the Georgia line. I'm leaning to 10 or 11 that Ohio State would be a favorite.
Really?
I think they'd be a double-digit favorite, yeah.
Yeah. I think double-digit would be close, but I think 8-9 would be about where it's at. I think Ohio State's one of the more talented of those three, probably definitely the most talented of those three. I don't want to play James Franklin. He has Tennessee's number, apparently.
Yeah.
Definitely don't want to play at night in Happy Valley if I don't have to. And I think Ryan Day is a massively overrated head coach, and if they lose in the first round, he gone. And I think he'll take a playbook from his favorite coach, and he will have health problems. So I'm going to go ahead and say praying for you, Ryan. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there.
The Ohio State matchup to me, and we could put a bow on it here, is that I think with the receivers, they have the best receiver trio in the country. I understand they've had their ups and downs a little bit. Their defense is number one. and FEI defense on BCF Toys still. There's still a lot of talent on that defensive line. I think they're a bad matchup for what Tennessee is limited in their secondary with the safeties and linebackers. I think Ohio State would chunk play and put their Emeka Ibuka, Carnell Tate, Jeremiah Smith would put this Tennessee defense in a lot of trouble with the chunk plays and not being able to get off the field. I think it'd be some iteration of what we saw in Athens. What makes you feel a little bit better is that their offensive line's really banged up, and Tennessee's defensive line is pretty healthy right now, so that should be. But we thought that going into Athens too, that they should be able to win the line of scrimmage there. I just don't want anything to do with that matchup and these receivers in space against where Tennessee's at linebacker and safety and coverage. I don't know if they're gonna be able to get off the field enough against Ohio State on the road.
I'm with you on that because there's more talent at Ohio State than those other two teams. But right now, like, everybody is like fire Ryan Day. Like, he is a loser.
But I mean, he almost beat Georgia 2 years ago in the CFP. Like, that was a much better Georgia team.
Coaching decisions is one of the main reasons, if not the main reason why.
But they're right there. Like they're close.
But
yeah,
that's what I
surprised they weren't all this year.
Head coach at Ohio State.
If we get into a 2-minute situation with Ohio State, I'm feeling much better than I do in most games. Because I'm like, he's going to do something stupid here. Count on it.
I think Nico has to play like a Heisman to have a chance in Columbus. I think Nico has to be running efficiently. I think Nico has got to be, like, Dante's got to be healthy.
I think any game from here on out, that's the case, though.
Probably true.
That's my.
So we'll see.
Just go win the damn thing.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I'll get up for it. I just don't, like, it'll be one of those where I don't feel good about it. Like, it's just like, let's see what happens, but I'm not going, like, if it's Tennessee and Columbus in 3 weeks, enjoy it. You're in the CFP.
Does Ohio State even want to play a home game after what just happened on that field?
I think they would get up for Tennessee.
They got to repair their flag hole in their artificial.
When's the last time Tennessee even played Ohio State? How long are we looking at here?
Oh, was that 90? Was that Eddie George?
I was about to say, I thought we played an Eddie George team, didn't we?
That's a long time.
Yeah, was that 96, 97?
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's been a long time. Like, they're gonna get up for this game. Like, this is a big time 2 brand situation that have not played each other in a really long time.
Yeah,
Ohio State will be rocking. Is my guess.
It'll be cold.
It'll be cold.
Here's a fun fact: Tennessee and Ohio State have played one time
Ever?
Tennessee is 1-0.
There you go. Facts
that is
only.
According to Winsipedia.
Analytics
has never let me down before. So
one time.
Do you use Winsipedia? It rocks.
What was
20-14 in 1996 at the Citrus Bowl? Can't spell citrus without UT. Steve Spurrier got that one right.
I love it. Landon, Caleb, what can the good folks check out from you and the team over at More Important Issues and Fox Sports Knoxville this week?
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on. We're trying to boost up the YouTube numbers a little bit, so we're teaming up with Chase, obviously.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.